Depression. So really, we're going to go right from the Roaring Twenties into the Great Depression. So we're going to talk about, okay, how do we go from this, life of the party, good times, spending all this money, into one of the lowest points in American history. All right, so just to recap, Roaring Twenties. So remember, newly is this idea of credit. So lots of people are buying things like cars, appliances, and clothes, but they didn't have the money that they actually need to be doing it. Okay, so again, fun times, dancing, drinking. We talked about flappers for women, but really, we weren't thinking about the consequences of spending, and not really have that money. Okay, so again, with the credit system, again, this idea of easy credit, nobody was regulating who this money is being handed out to, so they're spending this money that they didn't really have and couldn't pay back. Okay, our main focus today, so we're going to look at 5 causes of the Great Depression. There's going to be 4 long-term causes and then 1 short-term cause. Okay, so the first one you're going to have is overproduction. So when we produce too much stuff, what happens to the price? That's right, it is going to drop. Okay, so under overproduction, factory workers begin to get laid off, so they're losing their jobs. If they do not have a job, they also cannot buy things, so no money is going into the economy. Okay, so factory workers are losing their jobs. We talked about farmers moving to the cities with this idea of urbanization. Okay, so low prices due to overproduction mean that farmers can't pay back their loans, so farmers begin to lose their farm equipment, so the bank repossesses it or lose their farms. Okay, so prices are dropping because demand is also dropping. Okay, after World War I, production both in industries and agricultural is dropping severely. All right, step 2. So again, we talked about we're buying. Okay, so this idea of bank failure is going to be cause number 2. People are defaulting on loans. So this means that, me as the bank, I'm going to go try to get my money back from people that I loaned it to, and they can't pay the money back. If the banks aren't getting their money back, they can't give people their deposits or cash their paychecks or anything like that because we lent it out to people who couldn't pay it back. So if the banks don't have money, they're going to be forced to close. Okay, so during this time period, banks are rapidly closing. So close to 5,000 banks close in a 3-year span. Big impact. People are losing their entire life savings. So the people who were smart and saved up their money go to get money out of their bank, and their bank has loaned out all of their money to these bad creditors. Okay, so again, looking at this cartoon here, he's a victim of bank failure, and the squirrel's talking to him. He said, but why didn't you save some money for the future when times were good? He did. Okay, so the banks have no regulation for making sure that his money was intact and untouched. Okay, so again, when we talk about this, is a big cycle. So banks have no money, people lost their savings and jobs, no one's to help because no one's regulating it. Remember, the government is laissez-faire. The banks close and loans can't be paid back, so people can't get the money out of the bank. Okay, so again, big cycle. All right, number 3, uneven distribution of wealth. So the money that is in the economy is not being spread with everyone. Okay, so you need to know a small number of wealthy people controlled a majority of the money. Okay, when they start to see the economy going bad, they're going to hold on to that money. Okay, so big part right here, they are not spending during the Great Depression. Now the issue with that is if they're not spending any money, they're not putting any money into the economy. They're not buying things for industries to need to produce things to give jobs and so on. Okay, so again, 0.1%, so very small group of population owned as much money as the bottom 42%. Okay, so 42% of American families were below that poverty line. Okay, this is probably the hardest one to understand. Okay, when we talk about buying on margin, okay, we are specifically talking about stocks or ownership in a company, okay, but you're buying it with borrowed money. Okay, now this idea when you go to buy a stock, so if you buy stock or a small ownership in Walmart, when Walmart does well, you're going to make money. If Walmart does bad, you're going to lose money. So that goes into the idea of speculation, okay, or this idea of kind of gambling. You are hoping or you are assuming that you are going to profit. Okay, so you're buying these stocks with borrowed money, in the hopes that you're going to make money. And again, hopefully you would be able to pay back those loans. Okay? Now, the issue is a lot of people were doing that, and we're inflating the amount of money that it looks like there's in the stock market. Okay? So the stock market is going to easily crash. Okay? And then the stockbrokers who are selling the stocks and bonds can't pay back the bank. So again, the bank is loaning out all different money, okay, and not getting it back from anywhere. Okay? Government does not step in because they are laissez-faire or hands-off. Okay, so again, when you see the stock market go down, you probably want to get out. Now, the only way that you can get out is to sell your ownership to somebody else. Okay, so people are trying to get rid of them, sell them for super cheap, anything so they would stop losing money. And this is known super important as panic selling. So again, this is going to lead to a huge decline in stocks. Stocks are now worthless. Okay, so again, people who bought on margin now could not pay back the stocks. So again, back to big cycle. Okay, so 1 through 4, everything that we just covered is a long-term cause. Okay, so put a star next to number 5. This is the immediate cause. So immediately after this, we're going to fall directly into the Great Depression. Okay, so number 5 is going to be Black Tuesday. This is where the stock market completely bottoms out. Okay, so again, we're falsely inflating the stock market with loaned money in there. Okay, you see it dip a little bit, but it comes back. Okay, and then as we launch into the 30s, it completely bottoms out. So Tuesday, October 29th, known as Black Tuesday, this is when the stock market crashes, immediately launching the United States into the Great Depression.